What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the High PSI Performance channel. Whoop! Merch alert! Guys, go to highpsiperformance.com and pick you up one of these dope ass shirts. Helps support the channel, helps the shop grow. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Kicking this week off with a little Mustang Miata update. This is a KSeries swap one that we did a while back. It's under new ownership. I've talked about it in previous videos. We have the new motor installed. John is wrapping it up and putting the final touches on it. But the motor's in. Got to fill the trans up. Got some new plugs coming for it. It's got old plugs in it, but we'll swap those out. Got to top this thing off with coolant and oil. But I think we are close to firing this thing up here shortly. So this one is almost wrapped up. I did pick up the camera a little late this morning, so I did not film Randy's C7 Corvette. I don't know if you guys remember. We did a built motor, pro charge setup, meth injected, makes over 600 wheel. Don't remember the exact power number, but fast little convertible C7. We just wrapped up fluid change in the rear diff and the transmission. This has got the 7-speed manual in it. It is all wrapped up. One of our fleet maintenance jobs, letting it warm up. That one's wrapped up. Look at this one. This is a new project that we'll be working on. Looks kind of goofy with the two filters. Customer was just worried, so he put filters on everything. But it looked hilarious, so I thought I'd show you guys. Anyways, this car just got a TorqStorm put on it. Customer did the install, so we'll be going over some things on it. But it is here to get finished. So we've got to mount an intercooler still. And we've got to do all of our piping and so forth. We have a meth install to do on this thing, and gauges. I don't remember how many gauges, 2 or 3, but that's what we got going on in this thing. We did build the motor for this and then give it back to the customer. So he pulled the motor, brought us the motor. We got the motor built, pistons, rods, bearings and such. And as you can see, it's all back together. We've got that nice ARP hardware there, keeping the heads down. Got some long tube headers on this thing, so should make some good power. We'll see how much boost we make with the TorqStorm setup. We may end up pulling it and so forth, but excuse me, but we'll see how that thing turns out. Update on Alfonso's Corvette. We have the fuel system done on this thing. It is up and running. Lacking 2 more things on Alfonso's car before it hits the dyno. We need the manifold assembly for the vacuum block so we can get the blow-off valve working and the rising rate working on the fuel pressure regulator. And then we need to mount an IET sensor. So once we do that, you will see this jewel hit the dyno. Hopefully, it's a manual car as well too. Hopefully we see this thing in the 640s to 700 horsepower range with the pro charger. It's got a D1 SC on it and the motor's built, so we're gonna push it on E85. But that's what we've got going on right now. In the trailer behind me is another cool project that I'll show you guys here in a short. Moving forward, we're back on Alfonso's today. As you see, got the charge pipe off because I'm welding in an intake air temp sensor to the charge pipe. And we're backing the system down. I'm gonna put some coolant in it. So let's go ahead and weld on this bung. So as you guys can see, got the bung on there, looking good. Moving right along, and as you can see, I am currently modifying the front end to fit this big ass 4-inch core Mishimoto intercooler. As you can see, there's some challenges involved with that, but I'll walk you through it. And if you guys remember the 5.7 hemi that we did a TorqStorm on, we ended up cutting this shorter and welding a pipe to it to go down in this triangulated area here to create space, which most likely we'll have to do that again. there is some challenging issues involved with the piping on the 6.4s due to the intake manifold turning towards the blower. As you see, you have a lot of room. You can put pipe, but not very big pipe. Obviously we want it to stay 3-inch as much as possible, but as you guys know, space limitations, we'll see what we can do. But stick around and we'll see where we end up with this thing as far as piping is concerned. We do have gauges and some other things being installed, but that's what we've got going on with this car. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the video, I showed you guys an enclosed trailer that was hooked to my truck that was not my trailer, and that we had a little surprise inside that trailer. Well, we've got the vehicle unloaded. I'll go ahead and show it to you now, and that is this 1964 Chevrolet Impala. Super cool looking car, and it's going to be a big project. We've got a lot to do with this one, but the main reason why it's here is because of the engine under the hood. Alright, boom. So as you guys can see, it's got a Gen 5 LS motor in it. Super exciting. So the car just came to us, it got shipped down, and then this is really you guys are looking at it with me for the first time as well. You know, I haven't really got to go over the car very much, but Gen 5 motor. I'm not sure what training's behind it. I haven't been underneath the car yet, but basically the car is here to get finished up, to get wired, plumbed, running, tuned. I'm not sure the story on the other shop that started doing it, but obviously they didn't get it done. They found us through our YouTube channel and decided to drop the car off with us, so that's pretty exciting. Thank you guys. Car is pretty clean. It's got a nice interior. It's got a bunch of stuff in it. I got to go through all this stuff and see what we got. But if you notice, the wheels are a little wonky. At a funny camber angle. And so if we come back to the trunk here, we can quickly determine why they're so cattywampus. And that's because this joker's on hydraulics. Pretty nice little setup. Obviously we've got some wiring to tidy up in here, but overall looks very nice. So not only does this thing have a little bit of balls, you can hop around while it's doing it. And also, John is slapping our KSeries Miata back together. We had to make a change. We made a mistake of not changing a gear on the back of the cam for the swap. So we had the whole car together and ended up discovering, when we didn't have the spark plug sparking at the right time, that there was a pickup issue. So we got that switched. John's putting the car back together. We got that issue resolved. So let's get back at the TorqStorm. Okay, now guys, as you can see, we have our intercooler mounted. Looks good. Now I will go back in and we'll remove this material off and round these edges off real nice, but for now it's fine. We can start moving on with our fabrication process on the front end, as far as starting to figure out how we're going to get this intercooler piping routed. So let's go ahead and get out our universal piping kits here and start cutting up some pipes and getting some clamps and figure out where we're going to have to weld and start getting this system figured out. So let me get you guys up to speed on our intercooler setup on the TorqStorm. So yesterday I was diligently working on this, trying to figure everything out, and I think we got it figured out. So y'all seen the installation of the intercooler, and so we've got it coming out, coming around, running underneath. If you look, we've got our blow off valve right there, coming up. Did a little taking over here and made an inlet pipe to go into the throttle body. So now you can kind of see. We also welded a pipe directly right there onto the housing and running that down. And then I'm waiting on a coupler to go from there into basically a soft pipe. Anybody familiar with the ProCharger setups, it's kind of what we did there. Just ran a soft pipe up in there, because the tolerances are a little bit tight and things are really close. And so if you run a soft pipe, you can kind of deform it a little bit and still maintain the same volume. So waiting on that so I can cut and shorten this pipe right here and then connect it to the other side of the intercooler. But there it is. So moving right along, we have this beautiful 1995 Mustang Cobra. Hello. With a Vortec unit on it. Customers' complaints, the clutch isn't disengaging properly. I think it just needs a clutch quadrant adjustment, so that's what John is doing right now. But other than that, hopefully we can save him some money that he doesn't need to replace a bunch of parts in this thing, because this car has got 60,000 miles on it. It is super clean inside and out, and a quick little car. We don't mind saving our customers money. Another example of this would be this morning. We had a Challenger come in to have lowering springs installed. Step out front here. Whew, little bright. Got some more parts in for Alfonso, so that'll be coming back in. But this one got dropped off this morning for lowering springs installed. Put the car on the lift, grabbed the springs out of the back of the car. Lo and behold, they were OEM springs. So stopped, called the customer. I was like, hey man, you know these springs are factory springs? He said, yeah, my car's a 5.7. My homeboy took them off his SRT or something, and so they should lower my car a little bit. Now, I don't know, because I never swap springs. Like, sure, if you had like a V6, I've heard of the guys putting like the V8 car springs because they're stiffer. Heard of that. But in the V8 world, the V8, I've never had any customers have a switch, like if they got springs from a Demon and they put them on a 5.7. We don't do that. We normally install aftermarket components. So I took him for his word. He said, yeah, go ahead and install them. So I go back out, John starts tearing the vehicle apart, and then he checks the part numbers. And the part numbers on the springs on his car are the identical part numbers to the ones that are in the box. So I immediately called the customer back. I said, look man, I'm not in the business of taking people's money for no reason. The springs that you brought us are the exact same springs on the car. So why don't you come in? We'll find you some nice aftermarket ones that'll lower the car and justify you actually paying someone to put springs in. So he's on his way, so we'll adjust that. In the meantime, see if we can't get this Mustang squared away. So guys, I appreciate you sticking with us on this video. Next week, we'll have a lot more content on this one. Sorry this video was a lot of talking, but just been all over and everywhere this week on a bunch of different projects, and I haven't had a bunch of time to film stuff, specific content. But we did start on the fuel system. John got the new 4 Innovations dual hat put in this thing. So we'll start running lines. We've got an FC3 controller to put on here, hop switch, the whole 9 yards. So more content coming on this one next episode, next week. Our KSeries Miata is on the dyno. I already made pulls on this, but I didn't film it. And we're right back to our old power numbers with the new motor. So that's great. So next week, you guys will see some power pulls on this thing, and it's going home. So appreciate you guys sticking with us. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.